Hello, everyone. Today, I will be sharing a bit more about an idea to further, develop the electric mobility industry, and especially it's something with the user focus, which is the reliability of the recharging process. So today, I'm going to talk about predictive maintenance in that space. Next slide, please. So you probably haven't heard of us because we're a company that's in a very specific niche. We provide charging management software on a global scale. And this is essentially the cloud service, the tool that operators of charging infrastructure need. It contains a back office platform with a bunch of functionalities, web portal, mobile apps as well for the drivers. And using our platform, companies across the world in more than 45 countries cover all different use cases of electric vehicle charging, which is when you charge in the public space, in the private, let's say, workspace charging, also for big fleets, but also home for residential charging. We have about 130 clients, mostly in Western Europe, where the developed market for electric mobility is right now, but also in other parts of the world. So we are a team of 100 people, and we have offices in Bulgaria, where the company is headquartered, but also in France and in the US, and we're in the process of opening offices in the UK and in Germany. So this is a bit about us. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a better context about the electric vehicle charging ecosystem, there's a lot of different market players, and it's important that they communicate openly, and that data is being usefully shared to the benefit of the electric vehicle drivers. But we see also a lot of different synergy with the electrical grids, and this is also something that we explore a lot in our product. So here you see the charging point operator role. Essentially, our platform is tailored to those companies who operate the vehicles and the chargers, sorry, and they communicate with the vehicles, with the grids. Also, in the case of, let's say, a smart home, through our platform, you can utilize excess solar, and that solar power could go directly to the vehicle and not to the grid. So we cover a lot of that, and also when it comes to connectivity, we make sure that electric vehicle drivers can charge at every station. We do that through different partnerships with the ecosystem. Particularly, there's a roaming platform opportunity, and you can sign up for one charging point operator, but get access to everyone else. So we're also enabling this. And we see that in many of the markets that are really experiencing big growth right now, this is Western Europe and the US, there's a lot of issues that come up with the reliability of the station, because while you can see, on the app if a station is operational or not, if it's taken or not, sometimes when a driver goes to the station, the session does not start. And we are working to identify what can make this better. So we're working with different partners, and if you go to the next slide, please. We think that the ecosystem here in Europe can tailor for really good development in this regard. So what we mean is we want to achieve advanced level of predictive maintenance through AI, so that can increase the competitiveness of the businesses, also improve the reliability for the users, and optimize the overall operations and user experience. So we see several different aspects that can be addressed and can add added value. The drivers, on one hand, you have regulatory requirements for increased uptime of those chargers. So right now, we see in many markets that chargers are available around 80% of the time, which if you calculate, that's a lot of hours in the whole calendar year that chargers are not available. So we want to improve that, and also governments are setting mandates to improve that. But also there's the consumer demand, right? So you're buying an expensive vehicle, or you're part of a fleet and you have to deliver on a schedule. Well, you want to make sure that the infrastructure is there. So the next thing is that it should be working. And this is where we're now seeing some hurdles. And the problems can be of very different kind. They can be hardware related, they can be software related, and we're trying to identify them and make sure that we anticipate what can happen. So there, the next slide, you can see several goals that can be aimed with a project where we would collaborate with companies from the telecom industry, utilities, vehicle manufacturers, but also other consulting firms and data analytics firms to achieve a successful predictive maintenance and allow for those timely repairs and minimizing downtime. We have developed also several proof of concepts together with a partner to use AI and identify unusual behavior in charging stations, which indicates that something needs to be addressed. Also, demand prediction. I think this can be very interesting for some of you who are thinking broadly about the energy system, because here we are aiming to forecast charging demand successfully. And on the next slide, I will show you more about it. But essentially, we want to enable the operators to optimize the resources, and also the consumers to make sure that they have the supply that they need. And also, we're doing quite a lot with auto fault recovery algorithms, where we understand the utilization of the charger by error codes that we set. So the idea for the project is really to get the ecosystem together and work on development and deployment, and of course garner end user feedback on that. On the next slide, you will see a bit more about the specific deliverables that we have in mind. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's certainly something that is a very solid start. So let's say there is a slow utilization, or there's a charging fault that hasn't been reported. We want to make sure that this is investigated, and there's a model that can work with the data that's available in our platform and flag this in advance. On the demand prediction side, the aim there is really to understand the occupancy of the station and the energy output. So our initial results with our partners showed that there's about 90% accuracy predicting the occupancy of a single charger the next day. But we want to go beyond that. We want to add more data, including weather and other events that are happening, and expand on the energy output side of things as well, where we can say not just when or how long the charger will be occupied, but how much would it charge. And this is not something of a distant future where we're talking about connected vehicles and autonomous driving. This is something that can really help the grid as we move towards a more decentralized energy solution, which is electric vehicles, heat pumps, battery storage. But the last one here is on fault prediction. The idea is to understand if a charging station will falter and predict the reason. So we see that our initial results suggest prediction failure within the next 10 sessions with about 72% precision, and the next 30 sessions with almost 80% precision. But we want to move beyond that, and that's why we want to work in a consortium with partners who can help us with this. To the next slide, please. So, as I mentioned earlier, we work with EV charge point operators in almost all European countries. And our idea is to have a really wider geographical implementation of this project. We already have clients of ours from the UK, France, Germany, Austria, Sweden, Portugal, Spain, and Finland have expressed interest to work further on these type of activities. We also received express interest from a software solution firm called AMPECO, which is a company that we are collaborating with already. And we've contacted other industries, from charging station hardware manufacturers, of course, the charging point operators, which are our clients, most of them, folks from the automotive industry and the telecom industry, because we see that there's a lot of devices and moving points that they understand as well and can help us with. Consulting firms and data analysts more broadly would be a very good fit for a project that we can work on together. And the next slide, I believe it's my last slide. So yes, in short, we bring 5 years of global expertise, being one of the leading EV charging management provider. We have about 80,000 chargers connected to our platform, so that's quite a lot of charging infrastructure, and we can utilize the data, but we also can collaborate with partners, with ecosystem partners, to improve this charging reliability and enhance the performance for the end users. So it's, I believe, a very topical and important challenge in order to make sure that we go to the next step from early adopters to mature markets, and also mature markets which are really functional and efficient. So I'll leave it at this. I believe that was my last slide. There's one more which has my contact details. My name is Petar. Thank you.